Andrew Hale was a man everyone admired, a businessman who built skyscrapers that seemed to touch the clouds. But one choice he made changed everything. He decided to fake losing all his wealth, just to see the truth about his fiancée. She had promised to love him forever, but what if that wasn't real? Hey friends, welcome to today's story. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. And tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? New York, London, maybe Canada or Jamaica? We're curious. That Wednesday afternoon, Andrew left his office earlier than usual. He was excited. He had a surprise for Vanessa, a diamond bracelet he'd ordered 3 months ago. It had cost $75,000, but he didn't care. Vanessa deserved it, or at least that's what he thought. When he entered the mansion they shared, he noticed the living room door slightly ajar. He could hear Vanessa's voice, light, playful, chatting on the phone. He hadn't meant to eavesdrop, but when he caught his name, he froze. "Girl, you really think I'd marry this man if it weren't for his money?" Vanessa laughed. "Please, Andrew is so boring. All he ever talks about is business meetings and building plans. You can't even have a normal conversation with him." Andrew's hand tightened on the gift box. Her voice softened but remained clear. "It's only for 3 weeks, Linda. 3 weeks, then I say I do. Half of everything will be mine. I even have a lawyer ready. After that, I'll live my best life." Andrew felt his stomach drop, like falling from the tallest building he'd ever built. Of course, he realized. She didn't love him. How could I love someone who wakes up at 5 a.m. to run and talks about profit margins at dinner? But hey, unlimited credit cards, private jets, a mansion for the honeymoon, worth every second of pretending, she said, laughing coldly. A chill ran through him. Slowly, he stepped back and went to his study, sitting in the leather chair. Hands shaking, the $75,000 gift box felt like a weight on his lap. The woman he defended, showed off, called his future wife, she saw him as nothing but a walking bank account. The living room door opened. "Baby, you're home early." "What a nice surprise," Vanessa said, smiling as she approached. Her heels clicked on the marble. Dressed to impress, perfume filling the air, she kissed his cheek. "I was just talking to Linda about the wedding decorations," she said sweetly, pretending nothing had happened. Andrew's reply was dry. "Yeah." She smiled, oblivious, or indifferent. "Oh, almost forgot. The bridesmaids' dinner tonight at that new French restaurant. I won't be back late." She touched his shoulder. "You look tired, honey. Hard day?" Andrew nodded. "Love you," she called as she left, and the door clicked shut. Andrew slumped back in the chair, body weak, but anger flared. He grabbed his phone. "Richard," he said when his lawyer answered. "I need to see you tonight. It's urgent." "Is everything okay?" Richard Thompson asked, concern in his voice. "No," Andrew said quietly. "Everything's not okay, but it will be." 2 hours later, Andrew sat across from Richard in a quiet restaurant booth. Richard, 50, gray-haired, kind-eyed, had been Andrew's lawyer for 15 years and one of the few people he trusted completely. "What's going on?" Richard asked. Andrew told him everything, coming home early, overhearing Vanessa, her cold laugh, her cruel words. Richard's face grew serious. "I'm so sorry, Andrew. That's terrible. I need your help," Andrew said, eyes locked on Richard's. "I want to test her. I want to know for sure if what I heard is true." "How?" "I want to pretend I've lost everything, my business, money, mansion. I want her to think I'm completely broke." Richard's eyes widened. "That's huge. Are you sure?" "I am," Andrew said. "If she loves me, she'll stay. If she loves my money, she'll leave. Either way, I'll know before we marry." Richard nodded slowly. "It'll be tough. We'll need fake legal papers, bankruptcy documents, even news reports. It'll take time. I don't care how long it takes. I need the truth." Richard hesitated. "Andrew, are you ready for what you might find?" Andrew thought of her cold, satisfied laugh. Yes. I'm ready. For the next 2 weeks, Richard worked tirelessly. He created fake documents, letters from banks, and even contacted trusted media friends to spread the story. Andrew's life appeared to collapse, though in reality, everything was stronger than ever. His company thriving, bank accounts full, properties safe. Only Richard and a few trusted lawyers knew the truth. At home, Andrew acted normal. Smiled, talked about the wedding, pretended all was perfect. But every kiss, every honey, reminded him of her words. Meanwhile, Maria, the quiet housekeeper, continued her work. Dusting, cooking, taking care of everything without complaint. One morning, Andrew entered the library, exhausted, dark circles under his eyes. "Good morning, Mr. Hale," Maria said softly. "Coffee?" "Yes, please." Minutes later, she returned with his cup, perfect as always, little milk, no sugar. "Thank you, Maria," Andrew said, noticing the kindness in her eyes. She didn't ask about his sadness. She smiled and returned to her tasks. Simple. Good. Reliable. Andrew watched her go, quietly realizing some things money could never buy. Andrew couldn't stop thinking about Maria. If he went through with pretending to lose everything, she would probably lose her job too. The thought made him feel guilty, but he pushed it aside. He had to know the truth about Vanessa, no matter the cost. 2 days later, it was time. Early in the morning, Richard called. "Everything is ready," he said. "Are you absolutely sure you want to go through with this?" Andrew took a deep breath. "Yes. I'm sure." "Okay," Richard said. "Then we start today. By tonight, the entire city will believe you've lost everything." That afternoon, the news began to spread. First, a business website ran a story: Hale Construction Company faces major crisis, millions lost, projects failed. Then another outlet picked it up: Millionaire Andrew Hale declares bankruptcy, properties to be seized. By evening, it was everywhere: TV, radio, social media. Everyone was talking about Andrew Hale's sudden downfall. Andrew sat in his study, watching the headlines on his computer. Even knowing it was all staged, it felt strange to see his name tied to ruin. His phone started buzzing, calls from business partners, friends, colleagues. Everyone wanted to know if the reports were true. He answered some. "Yes," he said softly. "It's true. I've lost everything." Some expressed sympathy. Some offered help. But others, people he had counted on, vanished. Andrew realized something harsh that day: when you have money, everyone wants to be around you. When you lose it, many disappear like smoke. Around 7 p.m., Vanessa stormed in. Her face was red with anger. "Andrew!" she shouted. "What's going on? My phone hasn't stopped ringing. Everyone's asking about this bankruptcy news. Tell me it's not true." Andrew stood slowly, having rehearsed this moment countless times. "It's true," he said quietly. "I've lost the company, almost everything." Vanessa froze, her mouth open in disbelief. "What do you mean, everything? How is that even possible? You're one of the richest men in the city." "I made some bad business decisions," Andrew explained calmly. "I invested in projects that failed. The banks are taking my properties. My accounts are frozen. It's all gone." Vanessa's hands shook. No, this can't be happening. Not 3 weeks before our wedding." Her face wasn't sad, it was furious. "What about the mansion?" she demanded. "The cars? The wedding? The honeymoon house? All of it?" "The banks will take it all," Andrew said. Vanessa turned away, covering her mouth, breathing heavily as if she had been running. Then she spun back. "How could you let this happen? How could you be so stupid?" The words hit Andrew like a punch. She didn't ask if he was okay. Didn't ask how he felt. She only cared about the money. "I'm sorry," Andrew said quietly, watching her every move. "Sorry?" Vanessa laughed, but it wasn't a happy laugh. It was bitter, sharp. "Sorry doesn't fix this. Do you know how embarrassing this is for me? Everyone knows I'm engaged to you. Now they'll think I'm marrying a broke man. I'm still the same person, Andrew said softly. Just without the money. Vanessa stared at him like he had lost his mind. The same person? Andrew? Everything in our life was built on your money. The parties, the trips, the restaurants, the gifts, everything. She grabbed her purse from the couch. I need to think. I need to talk to Linda. I can't deal with this right now. And just like that, she left. Andrew was alone in the vast, silent mansion. The woman he planned to marry had walked out without a word of comfort or support. Soft footsteps came from behind. It was Maria. Mr. Hale, she said gently. I made some dinner. Would you like a plate? Andrew turned to her. Her eyes were full of kindness, no judgment, no anger. Thank you, Maria, he said, his voice nearly breaking. But I'm not very hungry right now. Maria nodded. I understand, but I'll leave a plate in the kitchen in case you change your mind. As she walked away, Andrew realized something profound. In the moment he had lost everything. The one who truly cared wasn't his fiancée. It was his maid. The next morning, the mansion was empty. Vanessa hadn't returned or even called. Andrew got dressed and went downstairs. Maria was already in the kitchen, preparing breakfast like every morning. Good morning, Mr. Hale, she said with her usual gentle smile. I made scrambled eggs and toast, your favorite. Thank you, Maria, Andrew said, sitting at the kitchen table. He noticed her worried gaze. Mr. Hale, she said softly, I hope you don't mind me asking, but are you going to be okay? Andrew looked at her. There was no judgment, no disappointment, only genuine concern. I don't know yet, he admitted. Everything's very complicated right now. Maria nodded and poured a glass of orange juice. I know it's not my place, but when my father lost his job 3 years ago, our whole family struggled. We had no money for rent or food, but we stayed together. We helped each other. That's what families do. Andrew felt a lump in his throat. Here was Maria, who had so little, teaching him what really mattered. And your father? He asked. What happened to him? He eventually found another job, Maria said. It didn't pay as much, but we made it work. My mother always says the hardest times show you who your real friends are. Before Andrew could respond, his phone rang. It was Vanessa. Hello? He answered. Andrew, we need to talk, she said, her voice cold and businesslike. Meet me at Café Lauren in 1 hour. Okay, Andrew said. I'll be there. Maria was clearing the breakfast dishes. I have to go out, Andrew said. Of course, Mr. Hale, she replied, her gentle smile never fading. Hale, Maria said softly. I'll be here when you get back. Café Lauren was one of those upscale coffee shops where the city's wealthy like to meet. Andrew arrived right on time. Vanessa was already at a corner table, wearing dark sunglasses indoors. Andrew slid into the chair across from her. Thanks for meeting me, Vanessa said, but her tone was flat, not thankful. What did you want to talk about? Andrew asked cautiously. She lifted her sunglasses, revealing cold, hard eyes. I've thought all night, she said. And I've made a decision. I think we should postpone the wedding. Andrew's heartbeat quickened. Postpone? For how long? Until you get back on your feet, Vanessa replied, glancing at her perfectly polished nails. Until you fix this financial disaster you've caused. But Vanessa, I thought you loved me. Doesn't love mean staying together even when things are hard? Her face shifted for a second, and Andrew saw a flash of something ugly. Love? She scoffed. Be realistic, Andrew. How can we have a wedding with no money? How can we afford a honeymoon? Where would we even live? We could live simply, Andrew suggested. Just you and me. We don't need a mansion or fancy cars. We just need each other. Vanessa stared at him like he'd grown another head. Simply? Life simply? She repeated. I'm not going to live in some small apartment like a common person. I have a reputation to maintain. So it's about your reputation, not our love? Andrew's voice hardened. Vanessa's face flushed. Don't try to guilt me. You lost everything. You ruined our future. Nearby diners had started noticing their argument. Vanessa lowered her voice. I'm not breaking up with you, she said, trying to sound calmer. I just think we should wait. Once you rebuild your wealth, we can talk about the wedding again. Andrew leaned back. And if I never recover? What if I stay poor? Vanessa paused, then picked up her purse. Then we'll have to rethink our entire relationship, she said coldly. She stood to leave, but Andrew stopped her. Answer me one question honestly, he said. Do you love me, the real me, or just what I can give you? She looked down at him. For a moment, he thought she might tell the truth, but she just shook her head. That's a stupid question, she said. You can't separate a person from their life. You are your success, your money, your status. Without those things, what are you? Just another ordinary man. And with that, she walked out. Andrew sat in the cafe for a long time, staring at the empty chair. He had his answer. Vanessa didn't love him, she loved his money. It hurt deeply, but at least the truth was clear. When he returned home, he found Maria dusting the living room. Maria, he called softly. She turned. Yes, Mr. Hale? Andrew sank onto the couch. Because of my financial problems, I won't be able to pay you anymore. I'm so sorry. I have to let you go. Her face fell, tears forming in her eyes. He knew she needed this job. Her sick mother depended on her income. I understand, Maria said quietly, wiping her eyes. When do you want me to leave? You can finish out the week, Andrew said. I'll pay you for this month, even though I shouldn't be spending anything. No, Mr. Hale, Maria said, shaking her head. You need that money more than I do. Andrew was stunned. She needed money desperately, yet she was thinking of him first. Maria, take care of your mother, he insisted. I'll find another job, she said, her voice trembling. Don't worry about me. I'm more concerned about you. What will you eat? Who will cook and clean? Warmth spread through Andrew's chest. This humble maid, who had just lost her job, cared more about him than herself. I'll be fine, he assured her. Maria nodded, still unconvinced, and returned to her dusting, even though she no longer had to work there. Over the next few days, strange things happened. Vanessa stopped coming to the mansion entirely. She rarely answered Andrew's calls, and when she did, she sounded busy and rushed. His wealthy friends no longer invited him to dinners or parties. People who once smiled and shook his hand now looked away on the street. The business world had turned its back on him. But Maria was different. Even though Andrew had told her she didn't need to come anymore, she arrived every morning. She cooked breakfast, cleaned the house, and sometimes even brought food from her own home to share. Maria, you don't have to do this, Andrew said one morning. I can't pay you. I'm not doing it for money, Maria said simply. I'm doing it because it's right. You've always treated me with respect, Mr. Hale. Now it's my turn to show kindness. Andrew's eyes welled up. When he had everything, people surrounded him. Now, with nothing, everyone vanished, except this one kind-hearted maid. One evening, as Maria prepared to leave, Andrew stopped her. Maria, can I ask something? Of course, Mr. Hale. Why are you still helping me? You don't owe me anything. Shouldn't you be taking care of your mother? She smiled gently. My mother taught me that money comes and goes, but character stays. How you treat people when they're down shows who you really are. You treated me with respect when you had everything. That's worth more than any paycheck. After she left, Andrew sat alone in the mansion, reflecting on her words. He had tested Vanessa and learned she only loved his money, but he had also discovered Maria, who valued him just for being human. 3 weeks passed. The news of his bankruptcy had faded. People moved on. Vanessa visited only twice, each visit under 30 minutes. She made excuses about being busy or having appointments. The second time, she didn't even sit down. "Andrew, I've been thinking," she said, standing near the door ready to run. "Maybe we should take a break, give each other space while you figure your life out." "A break?" Andrew repeated, stunned. "Vanessa, we're supposed to get married in 2 weeks," he said. "Yes, but things have changed," she replied. "You've changed. Our whole situation has changed." "I haven't changed," Andrew said quietly. "I'm still the same person you agreed to marry." Vanessa shifted uncomfortably. "Look, I'm not saying forever, just until things get better. Until you're back on top." Andrew stepped closer, his voice firm. "And if I never get back on top? What if this is my life now?" Vanessa instinctively took a step back. "Don't say that. You're smart, you'll find a way, like you always do." "But what if I don't?" Andrew pressed. "Would you still want to be with me?" Vanessa opened her mouth, then closed it. No answer. "That's what I thought," Andrew said softly. She gripped her purse tighter. "I have to go. Lunch appointment." As she walked out, Andrew felt a strange relief. No more doubts, no more pretending. He finally knew exactly who Vanessa was. Meanwhile, Maria continued to show up every day. She had found a new job at a small restaurant across town, working 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., then coming straight to Andrew's mansion to help him before going home to care for her mother. "Maria, you're working too hard," Andrew said one afternoon. "You don't have to come here anymore. I can manage." Maria was folding laundry. "Mr. Hale, people shouldn't face hard times alone. My mother always says that." "You have your own struggles," Andrew said gently. "Your mother's sick. You're working 2 jobs now." 3, she corrected with a small smile. Andrew's eyes widened. 3? "I clean offices at night 3 times a week," Maria explained. "It's fine. I'm young, I can handle it." Andrew felt a wave of guilt. Maria was exhausting herself, yet still helping him, someone who couldn't even pay her. "Why are you doing this?" he asked, voice thick with emotion. Maria paused, looking up at him. "When my father died 2 years ago, we had no money for the funeral. You remember that?" Andrew nodded. "You gave me a small loan back then," Maria continued. "But more than that, you came to the funeral. You sat with my family, told my mother my father raised a wonderful daughter. You treated us like we mattered, even though we were nobody to you. That kindness, it's why I can't just walk away now. That would make me a terrible person." Andrew felt tears sting his eyes. "Thank you, Maria. Thank you for being here." "You're welcome, Mr. Hale," she said, smiling softly. That evening, an unknown number called. "Hello, is this Andrew Hale?" a woman's voice asked. "Yes," Andrew said cautiously. "My name is Linda Morrison. I'm a friend of Vanessa's," she continued. Andrew's heart sank. This was the same Linda from that phone call months ago. "What is it?" he asked. "I need to tell you something about Vanessa. I've felt guilty for weeks." "Go ahead." "She's seeing someone else," Linda said quickly. "His name is David Richardson. He's a wealthy banker." Andrew wasn't surprised, but it still hurt. "She's been seeing him for the last 2 weeks. She told him she's single, that she broke up with you because you lost your money." "Why tell me this?" Andrew asked. Linda sighed. "Because it's not right. I heard her say horrible things about you on the phone, and I saw how she treated you after the bankruptcy news. She abandoned you, and now she's moved on to someone richer." Andrew nodded silently. "I see. Yes," Linda said softly. "You're a good man. You deserve better." "Thank you for telling me," Andrew replied. After hanging up, Andrew sat in the dark living room. Vanessa hadn't just postponed the wedding, she had already replaced him. Everything she had said about loving him forever, lies. He called Richard. "How much longer do we keep this charade going? Do you have the answers you were looking for?" Richard asked. Yes, Andrew said. I know the truth now. Then we can end it any time, Richard said. Just say the word. Andrew paused. Not yet. There's one more thing I want to do first. The next day, he asked Maria to sit in the living room. Maria, I need to talk about something important, he said. She looked worried. Is everything okay, Mr. Hale? The mansion's being sold? Andrew nodded, lying. The bank is taking it next week. I'll have to move to a small apartment across town. Maria's face fell. Oh no. I'm so sorry. It's okay, Andrew said. I'm learning to accept it. But I wanted to ask you, when I move, would you still visit sometimes? Not to work, just to talk. I don't have many friends left. Tears filled Maria's eyes. Of course, Mr. Hale. You'll never be alone. I promise. Andrew felt a warmth in his chest. This was real loyalty, real friendship, not romantic love, but love nonetheless. Thank you, Maria, he said softly. You don't know how much that means. 2 days later, Vanessa called. We need to meet, she said, her voice cold and determined. Okay, Andrew replied. Where? The same cafe as last time, she answered. Tomorrow at 3 o'clock, Vanessa said. I'll be there, Andrew replied. After hanging up, he dialed Richard. It's time, he said. After I meet Vanessa tomorrow, we end this. We reveal everything. Are you ready for this? Richard asked. More than ready, Andrew said firmly. It's time Vanessa sees who I truly am. And it's time I show Maria how much I appreciate her. All right, Richard said. I'll have everything ready. Tomorrow will be very interesting. Andrew gazed out the window at the sunset. The test was almost over. Soon everyone would know the truth. Vanessa would see that the man she abandoned was never really poor, and Maria would realize her kindness hadn't gone unnoticed. Tomorrow, everything would change. The next afternoon, Andrew arrived at Café Lauren precisely at 3 o'clock. He wore a simple shirt and jeans, nothing designer, just everyday clothes. Vanessa was already at the corner table, but she wasn't alone. Beside her sat a tall man in a sharp suit, perfectly styled blonde hair, and a luxury watch that probably cost more than a car. Andrew knew instantly, this must be David Richardson. He approached the table. Vanessa glanced up, uncomfortable for a moment, then returned to her cold, hard expression. Andrew, she said, thank you for coming. This is David Richardson. David, this is Andrew, Vanessa added. David stood, offering a firm handshake. Nice to meet you, Andrew. I've heard a lot about you. Andrew shook his hand. David's grip was confident, the kind of handshake that screamed superiority. Please sit, Vanessa said, motioning to the empty chair across from them. Andrew sat, eyes fixed on Vanessa, waiting for her to explain David's presence. She took a deep breath. Andrew, I wanted to be honest. David and I have grown close over the past few weeks. How close? Andrew asked, already knowing the answer. Vanessa glanced at David, who placed his hand over hers. We're together, he said. In a relationship. Andrew leaned back, calm. I see. And when did this start? Does it matter? Vanessa shot back. Andrew, we're from different worlds now. You can't give me the life I deserve. David can. Andrew repeated slowly. The life I can't give you. Tell me, Vanessa, what kind of life do you think you deserve? She lifted her chin. Comfort. Luxury. A life where I don't worry about money or anything else. And love? Andrew asked gently. Vanessa rolled her eyes. Love doesn't pay bills. Love doesn't buy houses, cars, or jewelry. I need stability, security. David can give me that. Andrew turned to David. What do you do for a living? I'm a senior banker at First National. 7-figure income. David replied proudly. Impressive, Andrew said. Vanessa, did you tell him about our engagement? Vanessa shifted. I told him we were together, but it ended when you lost everything. So you didn't mention we were supposed to marry in less than 2 weeks? Andrew asked. David's expression shifted as he looked at Vanessa. 2 weeks? You said you broke up months ago. Vanessa blushed. It's complicated. Not complicated at all, Andrew said calmly. She was engaged to me until 3 weeks ago. I lost my money, and suddenly she needed space. Now she's with someone richer, ready to make it official. David withdrew his hand. I don't date liars. And I don't date women still engaged to someone else. Good luck, Andrew. You're better off without her. He walked out, leaving Vanessa frozen, mouth open. You ruined everything, she shouted at Andrew. I ruined nothing, he said evenly. You did this. You were engaged to me while dating him. Her eyes burned with anger. If you hadn't lost your money, none of this would have happened. You're right, Andrew said. If I hadn't, I'd be marrying a woman who never truly loved me. Vanessa grabbed her purse. Good. I'm glad this happened. Now I see what a loser you really are. Nothing without money. She stood to leave, but Andrew spoke one last time. Before you go, Vanessa, I need you to know, I heard your phone call with Linda. Every word. Her face went pale. Yes, Andrew continued. I know you only wanted my money. You even had a lawyer ready to claim half of everything. You thought I was boring and predictable. I wasn't marrying you, not because of my bankruptcy, but because I knew who you really were. Vanessa's face turned red. You knew this whole time? Yes, Andrew said. And I watched you prove it. The moment I appeared poor, you abandoned me. You didn't try to help. You ran straight to someone richer. So what? Vanessa snapped. At least I'm honest about wanting security. Nothing wrong with wanting security, Andrew replied. Everything wrong with pretending to love someone while lying to get it. She leaned in, venom in her voice. You'll regret this. Living in a tiny apartment, eating cheap food, wearing cheap clothes, you'll wish you'd kept me. No woman will want you now. You're nobody. With that, she stormed out. Andrew sat alone, breathing deeply, feeling lighter than he had in months. He pulled out his phone and called Richard. It's done, he said. Vanessa just showed her true colors. I'm ready to end this. I'm ready for everyone to know the truth. Perfect, Richard said. I'll make the calls. By tomorrow morning, the entire city will know Andrew Hale is back. That evening, Andrew returned to the mansion. Maria was in the kitchen, preparing dinner, even though he had told her she didn't need to keep coming. Maria, Andrew called out. She turned with her usual warm smile. Oh, Mr. Hale. You're home. I made vegetable soup. I hope that's okay, she said cheerfully. Maria, could you sit for a moment? Andrew asked. I need to talk to you. Maria's smile faded into concern. Is something wrong? No, Andrew said, smiling. Actually, everything is very right. But I need to be honest with you about something. Maria sat down at the kitchen table, hands folded neatly in her lap. Andrew sat across from her. Maria, I haven't told you the full truth. The bankruptcy, it wasn't real. Maria's eyes widened. What do you mean? I never lost my money, Andrew explained. My company is fine. My bank accounts are intact. The mansion isn't being sold. It was all a test. Maria stared at him, trying to process his words. 3 weeks ago, I overheard Vanessa on the phone. Andrew continued. She said awful things about me. She admitted she only wanted to marry me for my money. So I decided to see the truth for myself. I pretended to lose everything. And she left the moment she thought I was poor. Maria's voice was soft. But I stayed. Yes, Andrew said, his voice trembling slightly. Even when I couldn't pay you, even while you were working 3 jobs, even with your mother needing care, you still came every day to help me. Tears rolled down Maria's cheeks. Maria, you showed me what real kindness looks like. Andrew said, his voice thick with emotion. You care about people for who they are, not for what they have. I don't know what to say, Maria whispered. Andrew reached across the table and gently took her hand. Say you'll let me thank you properly. Let me help you the way you helped me. Maria wiped her tears with the back of her hand. Mr. Hale, you don't need to thank me. I didn't help you for anything in return. I know, Andrew said softly. That's exactly why I want to. Your mother is sick. You're working 3 jobs just to survive. Let me change that. Maria shook her head quickly. No. I can't accept charity. My mother taught me to work for what we have. It's not charity. Andrew insisted. You've worked for me faithfully for 2 years. You cared for this house, cooked my meals, and treated me with respect. And then, when you thought I had nothing, you worked for free just to make sure I was okay. You've already earned this. Maria lowered her gaze. What are you saying? First, Andrew said, I want to pay for your mother's medical treatment, all of it. The best doctors, the best hospital, the best care. Maria's head shot up. Mr. Hale, that's too much. Let me finish, Andrew said with a kind smile. Second, I want to send you to school. You're smart. College, university, whatever you want to study. Maria's lips trembled. I can't. And third, Andrew continued, I want to give you a proper job in my company, not as a maid, but as a real employee with salary and benefits. After your education, of course. Maria broke down, covering her face with her hands, sobbing. Andrew stood and walked around the table, resting a hand on her shoulder. You deserve good things, Maria. You deserve to be taken care of, just like you took care of me. But why? Maria cried. Why would you do this for me? Because you taught me something important, Andrew said. Real love and friendship aren't about money or status. They're about being there for someone when they need you most. You were there for me. Now let me be there for you. Maria looked up, tear-filled eyes. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you so much, Mr. Hale. Call me Andrew, he said, smiling. We're friends now. Real friends. The next morning, the story broke. Breaking news, Andrew Hale's bankruptcy was a hoax. Billionaire reveals it was all a test. It spread like wildfire, news websites, TV, radio, social media. Andrew gave an interview to the city's biggest newspaper. He explained Vanessa, the fake bankruptcy, and the test of love. But he also spoke about Maria. While some people left when they thought I was poor, he said, one person stayed. My former maid, Maria, worked 3 jobs just so she could still help me. She shared her food, made sure I wasn't alone. She showed me real kindness. When asked what he'd do next, Andrew replied, I'm going to help Maria the way she helped me. Her mother's treatment, her education, a proper job. She deserves every opportunity. By noon, the city knew the full story. Andrew's phone wouldn't stop ringing. Congratulations, apologies, praise, but he focused only on helping Maria. Meanwhile, Vanessa was having the worst day of her life. Hundreds of messages flooded her phone from friends and family. I can't believe you only wanted him for his money. You got what you deserved. She threw her phone across the room, face red with anger and embarrassment. She turned on the TV. Andrew's face was everywhere, being praised for exposing a gold digger. A gold digger? She screamed. I just wanted security. Her mother called. Vanessa Marie Cole. What have you done? Everyone knows now. You threw away Andrew Hale, one of the richest and most respected men in the city. I didn't know he was faking. Vanessa shouted. That's not the point. Her mother barked. You revealed who you really are. You only care about money. Vanessa hung up, tears streaming down her face, burning with anger and shame. Vanessa grabbed her laptop and logged on. Maybe she could explain herself. Maybe people would finally understand. But the moment she opened her social media accounts, it was worse than she expected. Comments were everywhere, criticizing her. Vanessa Cole is the ultimate fake. How shallow can you be, leaving someone just because they're poor? Andrew dodged a bullet. Vanessa slammed the laptop shut. It wasn't fair. She wasn't a bad person, she just wanted comfort. What was wrong with that? Deep down, though, she couldn't deny it. She had been selfish, cruel, and now everyone could see it. That afternoon, Andrew took Maria to the city's top hospital. I don't understand, Maria's mother said, lying in the hospital bed. Why would someone like Mr. Hale do all this for us? Because Maria is extraordinary, Mrs. Santos, Andrew replied. She has a heart of gold. People like her deserve good things. The doctors explained Maria's mother needed surgery, but with the right care, she could recover fully. We'll handle everything, Andrew assured. Surgery, medication, recovery, don't worry about the cost. Tears ran down Mrs. Santos' face. I don't know how to thank you. Thank Maria, Andrew said. She earned this. She showed kindness when I needed it most. Maria held her mother's hand, both crying. She's always been too kind, Mrs. Santos whispered. Not anymore, Andrew said firmly. From now on, Maria will be protected and appreciated. I promise. Later that week, Andrew called Maria to his office at the company headquarters. She was nervous. She'd never been to the top-floor office in the massive glass and steel building. Come in, Maria, Andrew greeted warmly. The office had floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, a dark wood desk, and plush leather chairs. Sit, he said, pointing to a chair. Maria eased in carefully, like she might break something. Andrew slid papers across the desk. These are for your mother's treatment. Everything's covered. Maria stared. The total cost was over $100,000. This is too much, she whispered. It's not too much for someone who deserves it, Andrew said gently. Then he handed her more papers, enrollment forms for City University. You can start next semester. Tuition for all 4 years is already paid. Her hands shook. I don't know what to say. Say you'll work hard and make the most of this chance, Andrew said. I promise, she said, tears falling. I'll make you proud. You already have, he replied with a smile. He walked to the window, gazing over the city. Maria, I built my company from nothing. I was once like you, poor, struggling, working multiple jobs. Someone gave me a chance, believed in me when no one else would. That changed everything. I want to do the same for you. Without thinking, Maria hugged him. He hugged her back. It wasn't romantic, just the embrace of two people who had faced hardships and come through stronger. 6 months passed. Maria's mother recovered from surgery and started part-time work at a local flower shop. Maria began college studying business management, excelling in her classes. She had a real office job at Andrew's company, learning contracts, team management, and projects directly from him. You're a fast learner, Andrew said during one meeting. Soon you'll run your own department. Maria smiled. Only because I have a good teacher. Their friendship grew deeper. They talked daily, not just as boss and employee, but as true friends. Sometimes lunched together, sometimes Andrew sought her advice on business. He valued her honesty. Meanwhile, Vanessa's life had taken a sharp turn. After the scandal, most wealthy friends cut ties. David Richardson spread the word about her lies. Dates fell through as men Googled her name and read the news. She moved back with her parents and took a receptionist job. Comfortable, but far from the glamorous life she wanted. Late at night, Vanessa thought of Andrew, remembering his kindness and generosity. If she had loved him for who he was, her life could have been completely different, but it was too late. She had made her choices. One Saturday afternoon, Andrew invited Maria to lunch at a fine restaurant. I have something to tell you, he said. Maria looked curious. What is it? I've been thinking about the future, Andrew said. About what I want to do with my life. Maria waited. For years, I focused only on money and business, believing wealth would bring happiness. I was wrong, he said, meeting her eyes. You taught me that true happiness comes from people who care about you for who you are, not what you have. Maria smiled softly. I'm glad I could teach you that. I've decided to start a foundation to help people get education and job training. People like us. People who just need a chance. Maria's eyes lit up. And I want you to help run it, Andrew said. After college, of course. You'd be perfect. Maria gasped. Me, run a foundation? You know what it's like to struggle. That makes you the perfect person to help others, Andrew said. Tears filled her eyes. I'd be honored, she whispered. Andrew raised his glass. To new beginnings. Maria raised hers. To new beginnings.